Hi everyone, and welcome to Dan's Destinations. I was up in Sydney for a quick visit and took the opportunity to visit some sites that I missed on my previous trip. I flew into Sydney Kingsford International Airport and dropped my luggage at my hotel. From there, I took a train to Circular Quay and then a ferry to Watsons Bay. There, I ventured on the coastal cliff walks from the Gap all the way to Macquarie Lighthouse. Also, YouTube says less than 5% of you are subscribed, so help a mate out and smash that like and subscribe button. If you are new to the city, Viator offers great tours and experiences for all major cities, and if you click on the link in the video description, it helps us out and doesn't cost you extra. Getting from the airport to my hotel is very easy with a direct train under the domestic terminal. Having a direct train line under the airport is a major boon to travellers, and this is something we're still missing in Melbourne. You can use Google Maps to help plan your journey, and you can tap on or off with a credit card instead of buying an Opal transport card. On this trip, I stayed at Skye Suites Green Square, since changed to One Global Resorts. This is very convenient as it is directly over the Green Square train station. The rooms are very spacious, clean and comfortable, with a small kitchen and a great balcony view. As I had the day to myself, I wanted to visit Macquarie Lighthouse and Watsons Bay today. Navigating public transport in Sydney is extremely easy using Google Maps, which tells you which bus number or train line to take. All the main modes of transport, including train, bus, trams and ferries, all use the Opal travel card. Or you can use your credit card, Apple Pay or Samsung Pay to travel on it. Just remember to always tap on before you board and tap off at the destination. Circular Quay is a central hub for Sydney's public transport and is easily accessible by train, bus or light rail. At Circular Quay, ferries to Watsons Bay depart from Wharf 2, stopping by Rose Bay before arriving at Watsons Bay. Taking the ferry, I chose to sit at the bow, where you can get great views like the front of the Sydney Opera House. We also passed by the HMAS Canberra, docked at the Royal Australian Navy base in Sydney. Juxtaposed against this is the historic Fort Denison, which is now a tourist attraction. Besides all these great views, sitting on the open air bow is very refreshing with a cool breeze and fresh air making the trip an overall enjoyable affair. We also passed by the Coral Tracker, a classic tall ship built in Norway in 1939. She was originally designed to haul timber, but has since been transformed into a sailing beauty that takes passengers on harbour-side cruises in Sydney. Arrival at Watsons Bay, I got off the ferry and tapped off at the card reader. From there is a short walk through Robertson's Park to the Gap Bluff, where you encounter windswept cliffs and endless expanse of oceans that refuse to be tamed. First stop, the Gap Bluff, where nature and tragedy meet. It's as stunning as it is sobering. These cliffs look out over the open ocean, and while they're perfect for soaking in panoramic views, they've also been the sites of countless shipwrecks and heartbreaking suicides. While there, I also managed to see the coral tracker again as it battled the waves to head out to sea. Speaking of tragedy, the Dunbar anchor sits like a rusted ghost from the past. In 1857, the Dunbar, a passenger ship, misjudged the entrance to Sydney Harbour during a storm and met its end at the foot of the gap. Only one soul survived. The anchor serves as a reminder of the dangers and fragility of life that faced the early European settlers. Further along the coastal walk, you get many beautiful viewing points and the remnants of the World War II fortifications that used to line the entrance to the bay. Jacob's Ladder is a short stairway that leads to another viewing point with Watson's Bay stretched out in all its glory. It's a great spot to pretend you're a 19th century sailor getting the first glimpse of land after months at sea. From there, I stroll over to the South Head signal station, where flags and codes once communicated between land and the ships approaching Sydney Harbour. Back in the day, this place was like the original texting service for captains, navigating through the notoriously tricky heads. Macquarie Lighthouse is our next landmark. That's Macquarie Lighthouse. And if lighthouses had personalities, this one would be the wise old man of Sydney's coastline. It's the first lighthouse ever built in Australia in 1818, and it still stands tall, steady, unshakable, and guiding ships safely into harbour for over 200 years. The lighthouse was named after Governor Lachlan Macquarie, who was responsible for its construction. It was designed by the British architect Francis Greenway and is considered a masterpiece of colonial architecture. On the cliffs, there's a hidden tunnel and balcony, which was rediscovered in 2018. It's the kind of place you don't see in the guidebooks. There are many accounts of what purpose the tiny tunnel may have served. The current theory is that it was originally a searchlight spot. In World War II, it was manned by members of the Royal Australian Navy, who were tasked with watching for enemy ships and planes. The balcony was accessed via a small tunnel from the lightkeeper's cottage that led to a narrow stairway. However, this tunnel has since collapsed or been sealed since the 1970s, and the only way to explore the balcony is by abseiling down from the cliffs. In 1955, it was used by the Sydney University for nuclear cosmic ray research. Now it remains a hidden relic of Macquarie Lighthouse. After that, it started raining, so I had to cut my visit short and return via the ferry to my hotel.
Oh man, the rain just started coming down.
At night, I met up with my friend Claire for dinner. You can check out her Instagram channel at the link below. She does food reviews of the many eateries in Sydney. GoGyo Sydney is the kind of place where the line between tradition and rebellion blurs, where the classic tonkotsu broth meets a dark smoky edge that hits you like a gut punch, and somehow you're grateful for it. Located in Surrey Hills, GoGyo feels like a secret you've stumbled upon, with sleek interiors and understated lighting. GoGyo's karaage chicken is a masterclass of crunch and flavor. The skin is crispy as heck, with a perfect golden brown coat that shatters with each bite. A squeeze of lemon and a dip of the tangy mayo and you're in fried chicken heaven. Tonkotsu ramen is a rich, creamy pork broth that's been simmered for hours, with noodles perfectly cooked to that chewy al dente bite. But GoGyo's version is next level. The broth has a deep smoking flavor that lingers on your palate like a campfire after a long night. It's intense, rich, almost aggressively bold, but somehow incredibly balanced. The pork belly is melt in your mouth tender. The egg is marinated to perfection and the whole bowl feels like it's been kissed by fire. It's a ramen with attitude, no apologies, no holding back. At GoGyo, they take the ramen and they make it their own, all while respecting the traditions that made these dishes great in the first place. COOH on Collins is a lunchtime sanctuary in Alexandria for those who crave fresh, vibrant, and nutrient-packed meals without compromising on flavor. They have mastered the art of balancing health-conscious ingredients with satisfying portions, making it a go-to spot for the midday crowd that doesn't want to settle for bland salads or quick fixes. Medan Ciak is a culinary gem tucked away in Mascot, near the airport, serving up the bold, authentic flavors of Medan, Indonesia, offering a vibrant mix of Chinese, Indian, and indigenous Indonesian influences. Think spice, heat, and layers of flavor. This place was introduced to me by my good friend Eileen, who knows good food as any true Asian does. This place itself is unpretentious, letting the food do the talking. The signature dish, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗕𝗹𝗂𝗵 Medan, is a must-try, a plate of rice topped with various meats, vegetables, and sauces that hit all the right notes of savory, sweet, and spicy. Medan Ciak is the real deal. It's not here to impress you with presentation or ambience. It's here to slap you awake, to remind you that food is supposed to make you feel something, and leave you planning your next visit. That's it for my trip. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did, please do hit the like and subscribe.